Good morning and welcome to my channel. My name is Christina and I like to colour. Today, July 2025, I just wanted to go over my half-yearly colourings that I've done. So technically I really started at the middle to the end of, I think the middle of February. So, 5 months. Maths is not my, what's this, February, March, April, May. So about 5 months. I know that was pointless. So I just wanted to go over and show you what I have got done in half a year, and hopefully I get a lot more done in the next half a year because it's a full half a year, and I've kind of got my flow on how to colour and what to do, and I'm getting a little bit faster, I think, without losing the quality, because the quality is what's important to me. So I will slow down to get the quality. So yeah, so some pages do take me 10-12 hours, which is, a lot of people I see colouring, they colour in like 2 hours, and I'm like, wow, I'm slow. Anyway, I digress. So this is Clara Markova's latest book, Orchid Full of Fairies. I have got 2 pages done in here, but one of them I don't like, so I'm not going to show you in case if it accidentally flips open. If it accidentally flips open, then shut your eyes. I mean, it's not dreadful. It's just, I don't love it. I don't love it. Now, I actually like this one. I have figured out with Clara Markova's ones that you kind of need to colour them in the way that they are. You can't really, like with Kerby Rosanes, you can make them fantasy, and some of Maria Trolle's ones you can do fantasy, but these ones here I figured out you have to colour as you see it. So you can't really change much, because then it just goes to crap. Just goes to crap. Trust me. It goes to crap. I did enjoy doing this one, even though it has butterflies. I did try with a butterfly, well, a caterpillar butterfly. I used Prismacolors, I do believe, going from memory. You know what, I'm going to have to go look, because I'm not an organised person. I need to organise myself, and I am trying very hard to get organised. I've been organised this last month, but I didn't write down what I did. I'm pretty sure that's all. That's Prismacolor, that's Prismacolor, that's Prismacolor. I'm pretty sure it is all Prismacolor, but I will double check. One moment. With the magic of video, I'm back. And I was actually really surprised to see that before I went away on holiday, I went through and wrote down what I used in all my pages. So I was just about to go through all my videos and look and see what I used, and I've already done it. I just forgot that I did it. So this one is definitely Prismacolor. I was right. Thank you. I was scared to do this one, but in the end I did enjoy it, and I liked the way it turned out. Like I've said before, backgrounds, especially this was one of the earlier ones that I did, because I've always done, I've liked to do portraits and things like that, and I've never really done things with backgrounds. And so this was one of the first ones that I did, and backgrounds were just, they still are scary, not scary, but just overwhelming, I think is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, overwhelming. But I did enjoy doing this one, and I liked the way it turned out. I'm happy. So I've just got to remember to stick to what it is that she's drawn and not try to change it, because I did try on this one, I did try on this one to do like just one color, but I just hate it. I really hate it. And I got this glitter spray, and I sprayed it in the garage. I was stupid. I sprayed it in the garage. I'm just going to turn back to this page. I sprayed it in the garage, and the garage is dark, and so I sprayed it, and it was not dark, but it's not brightly lit. So I sprayed it, and I thought, oh, that didn't work. So I sprayed it again, and I thought, oh, that didn't work. So I sprayed it again, and it worked. It worked every time. It worked. So it is very shiny and glittery, and yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this one. I just had a day where I just stuffed up and everything just went to shit, and I could have done a hell of a lot better. I really could have, and I'm disappointed in myself, but shit happens. Yeah, so that is what I've done in Clara Markova's Orchid Full of Fairies, and you've seen the dreaded picture. Oh, bookmark, I can't forget the bookmark. You've seen the dreaded picture. So yeah, Demon Slayer, I've shown this one a few times. This paper isn't amazing. I used Prismacolor. Pretty sure I used Luminance, so Karron, and I also used Pan Pastels for the background. This didn't take very long to do it all. I had to first try and figure out his pants. I remember that, I thought that this was part of his shirt or something. I don't know what I thought. So I had to Google a lot of images to figure out what was going on. I don't mind the way it turned out, but the paper is just not conducive to blending is all. And now we go to one of my favorite artists, Kerby Rosanes, World Within Worlds. Worlds Within Worlds. I really need to learn how to talk. Sometimes it's just really hard. Sometimes your tongue just gets tired. I know I did one in here. I do. My husband just got home, and that is my female pug, and she goes mental. She's a rescue pug, and she is very vocal. Like she's going to be right out that window right there. She's going to be groaning and growling and buffing and until he goes out the back and gives her a pat. Anyway, now this was back in the beginning where I used the good old faithful Prismacolors. I still do. I wanted the dragon to be purple, so to go opposite purple is yellow, orange, that sort of color. So I decided to make his spikes yellow. And I was going to color in this Taj Mahal-ish type looking thing, Indian palace. I don't know what it is, but then I decided, I saw a couple videos of some people that colored it in and a couple of videos of people that didn't, and I preferred it when it wasn't. So I prefer realistic type things, so I decided to go with the coloring in and just coloring over it and pretending that it's not there. Could have painted over it with maybe gesso or something like that, but I don't mind the way it looks because it kind of does look like a reflection in his eye, and so he's looking and he's about to burn something down like Khaleesi or something. I don't know. Yeah, I like this one. I think this was the first Kerby Rosanes Kerby one that I did, and I think this is the one that made me go, oh, I really like this artist because he does stuff that I like, fantasy stuff, different stuff, and that is what I like. So that is Worlds Within Worlds. I wish I'd done more, but the problem with having so many books is that I'll do that one last. I get distracted. I am sorry. When I'm my husband goes mad at me for that. He says, you were saying something and then you got distracted by something else. So you need to go back to what you were saying. And now I forget what I was saying. Oh, yeah. The problem with having so many books is that you get distracted by all the books. And so you don't sit down and do one book. So I want to finish Dark Fairy Tales this year, I'm hoping. Yeah, that's a big task that I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but I shall try. Another Kerby Rosanes, Mythic World. Now I'm going to guess which one is in here. I can't remember what's in any of these books, what I've done in any of them. I have a shocking memory. I have really bad anxiety, and so I've learnt with anxiety, I tend to focus on the anxiety and I forget things. So my memory is pretty crap. Shit. This is Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga? No, I was wrong. This is Joragumo. See, I knew that. I was just messing. Just messing. Now, from memory, this is Karron Luminance and Prismacolor and a gold brass pencil, gold paint pen, white acrylic paint pen. When I first got this book, this was one of the ones that I really wanted to do, and I was terrified to do it because I didn't know how to, I couldn't figure out in my mind how to do any of it. And I've only just recently done this one, so 5 months in, I think I finally got the confidence to do the spider web and the spider and things like that. So this one here is kind of like a what's the word where you, I can't think of the word, a moment you pinpoint, whatever the word is, where I've started to get better and I've got a little bit confidence, because to begin with I was afraid to do this one. I didn't believe I could do this one, and 5 months later I did this one. So I'm proud of myself. I'm happy I did it, and I'm happy with the way it turned out. I like the Japanese style look here, and I like the bright green. I would have preferred not to do green, but it was the only colour I could think of that would brighten everything else, because I couldn't do purple or anything like that because it would just be too dull. So yeah, it's a monumental, not monumental, it's not that big, it's not that big a deal, but to me it's a big deal because 5 months ago I couldn't do this one. I looked at it and I couldn't do it. I couldn't figure it out, and then 1 month ago I figured it out. So yeah, yay me, yay. Now it is winter here, and the sun comes on this table. So not on my glass table, the table that I draw on this table, the sun is on here till like 3 p.m. And it's just, a line here, a line here, a line here. So it's very distracting if I'm colouring or whatever here. So I have to have this little kind of white sheet thingy hanging on the window to stop the sun coming through, but not enough to stop the light coming through, but it's still not bright. So hopefully this is bright enough for you to see. Yeah. And I read my subtitles yesterday because I did it again. I was reading some of my subtitles yesterday to see if they were right, and I noticed that I say a lot. So I'm trying not to say it, but I'm losing that one. I just say it. This is Maria Trolle's Luna. Now this one, I'm not a huge fan of these. These are okay. I like these ones, Maria Trolle's, more than I like Hannah Carson's. This is all personal preference, and I said it again. This is all personal preference. It is nothing to do with any of the abilities of the artist or anything like that. This is just my personal preference. I like fantasy. I like fantasy drawings. I like drawings that don't have a lot of things like this one. I like ones that it's hard to explain. A lot of things around just distract me, so I like to just do the one thing. But unfortunately, colouring artists, they like to add bits and bobs everywhere. I've done 2 in this one. This one is my first attempt at underwater, and I could do better. Underwater is so complicated. So I'm a realist. I like to be realistic. And underwater is just so complicated. When I look at the pictures, my mind just goes, what the hell am I looking at, you know? So it was difficult. I know, you know, down here should be darker, up there should be lighter, there should be light reflecting and lights coming down. And my husband, God bless him, but he's a very technical person. He thinks different to me, so I'm creative. He's the one that can put things together and you know, looks at something and knows exactly how it works. Like when you have those tests in maths where they say, you know, they say something about putting shapes into another shape, or would this shape go into that shape? And my brain just goes, what? Whereas he can go and he just automatically goes, yep, that's how it goes. So I asked him about the light reflecting, and he went into this very technical thing saying how it shouldn't be coming straight down, it should be hitting that and going this way and this way and this way. And my brain just went, no, I can't do that. I just, you know, all the pictures I see, the lines are just coming straight down. So I ignored his advice. It was just too technical for him. There was another one I was looking at doing, or I was doing, and he was going, no, the light shouldn't be hitting like that. It should be hitting like this. And I'm like, shut up, go away. I don't care. It's a drawing. It's my drawing. I can do the light reflecting wherever I want. So yeah, he's a very technical, lateral thinker. Anyway, off topic. This is Prismacolor. It's all Prismacolor. And I would have used my blender in it as well, my Karron blender. I love that blender. I need to get more. I only have a couple more. I only have a couple of them. I'm sure I did another one in here. The little red flower thingy. Maybe not. I'm sure I did though. There it is. Now this one is Prismacolors, Polychromos and Karron. And the white I used white gouache paint. I didn't want to do this one, but I actually really like this one, and I picked this one because it didn't have a background that I needed to do much on, because back in the day I hated doing backgrounds, and I still do. Actually, I don't hate doing them. I hate thinking of what to do and how to do, because they are such an important part of a drawing. You just don't think about it until it's there, and you have to go, well, the background technically usually makes the drawing. Like in the Kerby Rosanes books, he doesn't have that much of a need for a background, but a lot of other books, the background is important in the picture, and so it's very stressful for me. But this one was, you know, such an easy background, which was awesome. And a little wood hut and the little rose petals and all the leaves. I enjoyed doing these leaves. It was just doing the same thing over and over again, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I am actually quite happy with how that one turned out. It's a cute little one, and I am glad I chose that one to do. I don't mind her books. They're very quick. The pictures in there are very quick, unless you're doing an ocean and you don't know what you're doing. I am going to push myself and do more oceans, but yeah, they do scare me. They do scare me, just because they're so technical. So this is Johanna Basford's Magical Worlds. I haven't done as many of Johanna Basford's as I would have liked and as many as I thought I would do, because I thought I would enjoy, I love doing Johanna Basford books. I do enjoy some of her pictures. They are pretty good pictures, but they are background intensive, a lot of them. And that is just a lot of brain power for me. Now this one is Prismacolor. Prismacolor. Don't you love my Australian accent? Prismacolor. I actually like this one. It was the first one I did, and I was going for realism because that's what I like. So I did a lot of texture on the pumpkin. So I would colour it, erase it, colour it, erase it. And I know that sounds stupid and counterproductive, but it actually makes texture. And then when you add the shadows and that, it makes texture and it makes it realistic to me. And I'm actually quite happy with those bricks. Looking at those bricks, they look real. Look at me, I did something good. I enjoyed this one, I like this one, and I wanted to do more like this one. This was the start of my adult colouring journey, and using coloured pencils, to be honest, because most of the time I'd use graphite, and coloured pencils actually terrified me because I just couldn't figure it out. No, I was too scared to mess up because they're so expensive, but now I'm pretty confident. I'm not amazingly confident. Skin still terrifies me, especially darker skin. I'm still trying to find a decent colour combination for that. It's very difficult because there's so many colours in skin. Anyway, off topic. So I really enjoyed this Johanna Basford one, and I enjoyed making it realistic. The grass I like doing a realistic grass. I didn't just want to do one, colour or anything like that. The sky was not fun. A lot of colouring, but it is what it is, yeah. And let's go to the unmentionable one, the one that I think caused me to have almost a stroke trying to figure out how to do it, and I still couldn't figure out how to do it. So yeah. There's this one, yeah. Gems are not my favourite thing to do. I've never done them before. And the background was so difficult to do, getting in between everything and just trying to figure out the lighting on the gems was just, I was having brain fart after brain fart after brain fart, and it drove me insane. I almost couldn't finish this page. It was very frustrating. It's not horrible, but it's not perfect like what I like. So this is a cross on the page. This is the unmentionable page. Yeah, unmentionable. That was Prismacolor too, I think. Pretty sure it was Prismacolor. Now, Wildflower Folk with Karron. I do like her pictures. They are really beautiful pictures. Faces. I like faces. I like to do faces. That's my thing. I prefer older faces because they have so much character. I'll do her later. This one here. Alrighty. Going from memory. Pretty sure that is Pan Pastels for the background. So this one is actually Prismacolor, Holbein and Brut Funa. Now I wanted this to be transparent. In order to do that, you have to colour in the arm first, or whatever it is that's underneath it, to make it seem transparent. I chose green because I hadn't done anything green before, and I thought it looked good. I really liked the way her lips turned out and her eyes too, just her makeup. I'm happy with that. Bubbles, bubbles, bubbles are... Man, I looked at so many pictures of bubbles trying to figure out how to colour in a bubble. And it looks so simple. I've painted bubbles before and they look fine, but I just couldn't... Oh, it was just so difficult to figure out how to colour in a bubble because some of them were just so... Like, you had to do 10, 15 layers, and I thought I don't want to do 10, 15 layers on each damn bubble. So I just did what I thought would work. And maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't know. But I like the green. I do. I'm happy that I did her green. I like her green hair. Maybe I could have done her crown a different colour. I wanted it all to be green, so I did think about doing her crown red just to pop it out a little bit, but I decided against that. I just wanted the whole page to be green. With my drawings, I like to do the shadows. I like to put my own shadows in. Sometimes they have shadows already coloured in there, which sometimes is great and sometimes is annoying because some of them are different. So I like to, do the shadows and the highlights, and because that's what makes the picture, just adding all the shadows and blending everything together and the layers. Like I'll do a colouring on camera, and then for 1 or 2 hours afterwards I'll just sit there watching YouTube and I'll colour in the exact same thing that I've already coloured in, just over it again and then over it again. And so it's the layers that make it. I know I've said that 1,000 times, but it is the layers. And I don't show every single layer because it would just get monotonous. But I'm doing the exact same thing with the exact same pencils. I just do more layers. That's all I do. I'm pretty sure I've done a pink fairy one. The background is, I'm sure it was Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils. Yeah, the background was watercolor pencils. I wanted it to be a very pastel-y kind of, I can't think of the word, like a watercolor paint one that you see that has, all these little lines and things like that. So that's what I wanted the background to be. And because I did the background pink, I decided I wanted her pink as well. So I used Prismacolor on her. And this was the first one I did of Christine Karron's. And it took a little to get the shadow right because these are kind of grayscale. Not quite, but they are. Yeah, they are. They're grayscale. There's no not quite about it. They're grayscale, and sometimes it's hard to colour over the grayscale, especially with skin. And I like to make their hairs, like I don't know why I didn't add strands coming out of hers. I forget that. It adds to the picture when you add strands coming off. So I remembered to do the eyebrows, but I didn't remember to do the hair. And I don't think I did her hair either. No, I didn't do her hair. I just really enjoy her pictures because you can do them all. They're fantasy pictures and you can do any colour you want. Like, I did her green hair. Don't see many green haired people walking around. We don't see many people with wings either. You never know. And I just like that you can do any colour. Like one page, I could do the whole page in the one colour in this book and it looks fine. And that's just because of the way she draws. And yeah, I really like her drawings. And I really like what you can do with them. And they give out a vibe. So as soon as you see a picture, you know exactly what vibe you're supposed to be getting from them. And this one is definitely an autumn vibe. I wanted her to have autumn colours, obviously. And, autumn colours, red, orange, yellow, things like that. And I didn't want to have a huge distracting background, so I just decided to do light yellow and then an orange. Not 100% happy with that line there. I could go over it again and again. I already did go over it quite a few times, just trying to blend it in, but I'll figure that out another time when I get motivated. I did her eyebrows, I like to do them hairy. I didn't give her any flyaways either. Oh no, I did. I gave her some. Yeah, I did. I did. I gave her flyaways, so that's all right. I put the lipstick on there because most people that wear lipstick usually leave a lipstick line, and wanted the fingernails to match the jumper, And yeah, the way she does the eyes make it really easy to colour in the eyes because they're bigger than usual. Usually eyes are, pretty small, so they're sometimes a little difficult to get into. But yeah, I like this one except for that line. It does bug me, so I will try and fix that when I get the time. And this is the last one that I did. I didn't want to do a background. I should have done flyaways. I'm sitting here now and I want to sit here and fix up the hair, the flyaways. I'm happy with the butterfly. I didn't mind doing this butterfly because it was a big butterfly, and yeah, I knew the colours that I wanted, and that was it. Most of the time butterflies are just, why are they there? They don't need to be there. Or I'm not just butterflies, sometimes people have little birds and things like that flying around everywhere. Why do they need to be there? I do like that bumblebee. I like him. He's got his transparent wings, and the fruit was pretty easy to do. I drew in that and that. I wanted her to be goth but not quite goth, because I could have gone full goth, or not goth, but the black eye shadow more up here and around there, but I just didn't want to do that on this one. I didn't want to change it too much. I wasn't in a pretty happy mood, so I wanted part not happy. So she is done with luminance and Prismacolors and white acrylic paint pen. I like adding to pictures sometimes. When I see a picture, I think I want to change that, so that's why I added that, and I added that. Sometimes you just want to make it your own, if you know what I mean. You see something in your mind and you just want to make it your own. But that is Wildflower Folk. And now we have Rooms of Wonder. This will be the fruit page. Has to be the fruit page. I can hear my dogs snoring out the back. I liked doing this one. Once I figured out the background, I liked doing this one. I used Prismacolors, and I got a little bored of doing these. I know I get bored easily, don't I? But I got bored of doing, not bored, they seem irrelevant to me. This one was just a fruit page, and I don't know why I had to colour in these handkerchief thingies. But I've thoroughly enjoyed making the fruit and the bananas. Well, bananas are fruit, I know. Look realistic, and figuring out colours for each thing and shading everything, and the background. The background took quite a while. I had to draw all that in myself, but I did enjoy doing it. It is very busy, but I think it actually helps with the page because it's a brick wall with shelves and all this cut fruit, which is going to attract all the flies and go very brown very quickly, especially in Queensland humidity. Just saying. But I did enjoy doing this one. The sugar was difficult. It took me forever to figure out that I'm just going to have to add the shadows a little bit, and because I can't draw each sugar crystal because that would just be impossible. But I am very happy with how this one turned out. And I got all the way to the middle of the page, which is sometimes very difficult to do because I'm going to draw on the other page. So this is the next page in Johanna Basford's Rooms of Wonder. This is I call it the Honeycomb Bee page. I used Prismacolors for this. To start with, I decided to do that, the normal colour, so I had to work everything else around it. And with orange, there's only a few colours that really go with it. So I stuck with the blues and the purples really. Added a few reds in there, but as you can see, the reds don't stand out as much as the blues do. I added texture with the electric eraser, and I haven't done highlights again. No, I did do highlights. I don't know, some pages I do highlights, no, I did do highlights. Yeah, sometimes they just hide away. But I enjoyed this page too of Johanna Basford's. It's there are a few good pages of hers that I like. Like I've said many times, I just don't like the ones with lots of the same things. So this one I really enjoyed doing, and I enjoyed doing that one as well. So yeah, not as many Johanna Basford's done as I would like to have done, but you know, I found Kerby Rosanes, so and in this one I have done, this must be Baba Yaga. Ah, where's Baba Yaga? I forgot to get a book. What book is Baba Yaga in? You know, I'm gonna, maybe it's in one of these. There it is. I knew I'd find her. Now this one I did a while ago, and I remember planning this one, and oh my god, it was so difficult to plan this one because I wanted it to be good. I wanted it to be, for lack of a better word, perfect. I wanted a glow on the trees coming from her, and it took me a while to figure out what color to do her. I did initially think of doing her like a grey, and then I thought maybe blue, but I don't know what made me decide on orange. I think it probably just because it's a bright color. Yellow is not strong enough. I could have done yellow, but it's just not strong enough. I used Prismacolors on this, and the neon orange worked really well as a glow on the trees. And I just wanted her to be ugly and glowy, and I went through so many different ideas for this one. And this was a last ditch effort. This actually, the glow on the trees, I didn't have that on any of my other ideas and that, and then I thought, I slept on it, and then I woke up and I thought, no, I'm going to try glow on the trees, and lo and behold, there we go. So this is Baba Yaga. I liked doing that one too. And surprise, surprise, another Kerby Rosanes, Mythomorphia. This is the Medusa, or Gorgon as it's sometimes said. I added that, the toga. Yoga. She's wearing a yoga. She's wearing a toga. That took me a while to get right. I did erase it a couple times because I thought I had it right, and then I messed up, and oh man. Anyway, I wanted green snakes because I wanted green eyes and all the snakes to be the one color. I did initially think black snakes, but I didn't want to do black eyes, although black eyes would have worked. I wanted a color, not, black sometimes can be very boring and overwhelming, whereas I like the way these greens turned out. I try to reinforce the scales and add shadows to the snakes, and her skin tone, I wanted the scales and the green up here and the green cheeks, whatever. And yeah, not much else I can say about this one really. It was one of my favourite ones to do until I found Dark Fairy Tales. But I really love everything to do with Kerby Rosanes. So I should find another page in here to do. But I've already got my July. I haven't started colouring yet. I am way behind. It's school holidays, so it's really hard to video. So I have to keep stopping this video because I have kids out there who are sick and they're blowing their nose all the time. Anyway, not their fault, not their fault. But they could blow their nose somewhere else. Just saying. This is Summer Nights by Johanna Basford. I think I have I done one in here or two? I'm not quite sure. Memories. I think I wanted to do two, but I haven't quite got to it. No, I have done two. There's the that girl. Is that in this book? The tattoo girl. I swear that's in this book. Now I have to go through every page slowly, slowly. There's that one. I swear, there it is. So I'll start with her. Distress ink background with using these as a smaller one, obviously, as just getting a light bokeh effect. I use Prismacolor and Polychromos and a gold paint pen. Though the gold Prismacolor actually works really well, so I don't need to use the gold paint pen on all these things. I can just use the Prismacolor. I wanted her to have black hair, but black hair can be very difficult to do. I wanted all of this to be gold, and just trying to figure out the colours of these flowers was a little bit difficult. I knew I wanted these to be purple, and I added blue just for a little bit of change. I wanted him to look kind of like a willy wagtail, but willy wagtails have a white breast there. But I actually remembered to do her flyaway strands, so yeah, I'm happy about that. I like the way this one turned out. And I mean, like I said before, when the camera is on it and it puts a little square on her face, it's a sign that you've done the colors, and it kind of looks like a face, which is good. It's the goal, you know. I look in the camera and I think, oh, is there a little square on the face? No, not quite right yet. But I like this one. I haven't done a huge amount of Johanna Basford's pictures, but I do like this one, and I like the way it turned out. And this is the Brut Funes. I just wanted to do a purple page, and I decided to use the Brut Funes, because everybody said that they're pretty good, and yeah, I decided to give it a go. Don't do it in summer in Queensland because the pencils are slippery. That's about it, you know, not as many layers as the Prismacolor and not as soft as the Prismacolor, but that's about the worst you could say about the Brut Funes. You know, maybe the Light Fast is probably pretty crap, I don't know. But I like the way this one turned out, I do. It's really, it's a moody picture, and that's what I wanted it to be. And it's simple, it's just a few colours. It's not quite monochromatic because I've got pink in there, but I like the way this turned out. Yeah. And last but not least, this is Kerby Rosanes' latest book, Dark Fairy Tales. I have done a couple of pages in here, so I'll start from the back. So this is Hansel and Gretel. I wanted the fire to be a different colour than orange. So orange would have worked. I could have done orange, but I don't know, I had a thing for green at the time, so I did a green fire using Black Widow. I used Black Widow Zombie on these, and I think another Black Widow as well. It's a really nice green, actually. If you don't have it, you should get it. It's a pretty good green. You could also use chartreuse, I suppose, in Prismacolor. Majority of the rest of it is Prismacolor with white jelly roll pen. I like to add texture, so I added texture to the cake and highlights and that to all this and all that. And I wanted the icing to be red, to, you know, kind of be like blood but not quite like blood, because she's a good witch and and they're just not very nice people. That's sugar stained glass. And yeah, this one was pretty simple to do. It was just monotonous doing all of these and all of these little jars. That's all it was. But I like the way it turned out. I love these three. I love the fire. It's just bright and in your face. The shadows up the pole. And yeah. This one here is the other Hansel and Gretel. Now I wanted this one to be kind of cotton candy-ish, and so I did the trees cotton candy-ish in the best way that I could. I did use pan pastels down here to create the what is it, the white stuff, the mist going across. I did have difficulties doing both of these because just following, I just constantly keep finding little bits that I'd missed. So I thought I coloured in the whole house, and then I'd see more of the house, and it didn't take very long doing both of these, actually both these pages. It didn't take very long. It was just a lot of little things to do, and then getting all the highlights and trying to get the colours right. I like the spookiness of this, and that the trees are hidden in the background, because I did have them out to begin with, and then I thought, no, I want them hidden back behind. And yeah, I'm happy with the way that both of these pages turned out. And this is the Mad Hatter. I had no desire to do this one, but one day I just flicked through and I was in a mood, and I thought, no, I want to do this one because I saw him as the Joker. I absolutely love Batman and Batman movie. Well, I'm not going to say I love all the Batman movies, they're not all great, but when I was a kid I loved Batman. He was it for me. I actually really like the Joker, to be honest. And I like the way the Joker is portrayed, especially Heath Ledger's Joker and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is very different. It's very sad. But the one I'm thinking of is the one that's in the... he didn't play it very long. He never got a real movie, a full movie of it. Jared Leto? I don't know. Yeah, I like the Joker, but I really like Heath Ledger's Joker. Jack Nicholson is alright too. Very old though. I knew I needed to do a pattern behind it just because it's cards, and well, when I think of the Joker I think of the card that he has in his hat, so I decided to do diamonds. I'm glad I figured out to draw the lines and then just join the lines together instead of having to draw every single diamond individually, because that would have just turned out to be a real catastrophe. It would have been purple. I chose the colour of the hat and matched everything to go with the hat, and put the hat and the hair, to be honest. And I wanted his mouth to extend because I wanted it to be kind of Cheshire-like, and that's why these are like that as well. Yeah. And this is the Queen. I wanted her to be clashing, so everything's kind of clashing. So she's got the iconic red and black lipstick. I thought about doing a love heart on her lips, but I didn't think it would look any good. Wanted this to be black. This is all Prismacolor, is it? I can't remember. Brute Furnace, Luminance and Prismacolor. I chose him green because I'd already done the background kind of red, and I added this. I didn't want her mouth to be as open as his, so I stapled it shut. I wanted them to kind of, the eyeshadow to leak down. Sorry, I'm not a makeup wearer. I should, but I've never been a real makeup wearer. Yeah, all these I was going to do a different colour, but I decided against it. I don't know why. And this is what I used that Thule majority of what I use the Thule paint pen on. And this page, well, this one, I only got a bit of it done. I had to start using the other one. It doesn't seem like a great deal, but you know, it used up the whole paint pen. And yeah, I don't know if maybe I did too much. I mean, this is the most highlights that I've done on a page, and it just used up all of the damn pen. Yeah, whatever. These were the first 2 pages of Dark Fairy Tales that I did. I really wanted to do him. I fell in love with his face and his bones. That sort of stuff just interests me. I wanted her dress to be beautiful. I know Cinderella's dress is usually blue, I think, but yeah, I wanted to do something different, and I don't think blue would have gone with all the other colors that I had. I got rid of the background pictures. I wanted them to be dirty, like they're forced to be there, and the ground to be dirty, but these 2 absolutely immaculate. I don't know if I said I used Prismacolors for this. And this one here I really like. I wanted it to be spooky, kind of like the Baba Yaga one, where the horses are glowing and the moonlight. The horses and the moonlight are glowing and making the trees glow and the path glow, not grow. The shoe there, the crows, they're everywhere. I really like this one. I spent a lot of time getting the texture and that of the pumpkin. I don't know, it must be something to do with pumpkins. I just really like doing the textures, and just about anything I love doing the texture. I love realism. I love to try and get it realistic, and that's why some pictures I have problems with, because you just can't get them realistic, or they're not. I really like doing realism, and I really like fantasy realism, and I know those 2 don't go together, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I did enjoy doing this one. I took my time on these. I think these ones took me 10-12 hours. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I think it was a fairly long time that it took me. Yeah, so I haven't done a great deal in this book. I've done 6 pages or 5. Oh no, I've done that one. I forgot about him. He was difficult to do. I wasn't really into him, but I wanted to get him done. I don't know why. I wanted green smoke. I didn't want the usual black smoke, because I wanted his cracks to glow the colour of the smoke and to have them glow. I could have done orange, I suppose, but then I would have to change everything around him. And nutcrackers are usually red or blue. Not that you have to follow that, but some things I just like to do the right colour with. I like to try and get the shading. Her dress, green is alright, but I like the way he turned out with his green eyes and his red cheeks, and kind of making him turn realistic. So he's got lashes, eyebrow hairs, you know, mustache and stuff like that. Now I'm pretty sure that is, oh no, I've done her too. Keep forgetting what I've done. This was Karron Luminance, the first time that I used luminance for a full picture, and I'm really happy with the orange. The orange turned out to be really vibrant and gorgeous, and I could have done the candles a colour, like could have gone what's the opposite, blue, but I thought it would be very difficult to do, so I did my best to make them a normal candle colour, just with reflections of the fire and some blue. I think, no, there's no blue, just red and yellow. And her crown I almost didn't see. I was going to do gold, but decided against it and chose blue. And that's pan pastels. Pan pastels are handy for a very quick background, and they are good too. Yeah, so that is Dark Fairy Tales, and that is all of my books that I have coloured from February to June. So not a great deal, but better than what I did the previous year, which was none. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this video, and I'm going to get on with another video, and I'll talk to you later, and thank you for watching. Bye. This is a last minute addition that I realized I didn't show. I didn't show the little match girl, which is actually one of my favorite ones. I like the way she turned out. I love the ice cold bricks and his scythe with the scythe, one of them, with the blood on it and the greenish blue smoke that emanates from him and the snow. And I like how the flame turned out. So I can't believe I forgot to show this one in the main thing, so now I have to re-upload, which is really irritating. First world problems. Anyway, this is probably one of my most favourite ones out of this Dark Fairy Tales book. And now that is the end, and I hope I'll see you next time.